living that chai tea life. If you haven't tried a chai latte, this one is with oat milk, but you can use whichever milk you want. You're missing out. So good. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm happy to be home in my apartment in New York. If you watched my previous few videos, you'll see that we got stuck in Texas. So go and watch that video if you haven't seen it already. Kind of a crazy story. Today I'm coming at you with things in pregnancy that I am not going to be buying or haven't bought as of yet. I am currently nearly 7 months pregnant, I guess technically. So I'm almost 28 weeks pregnant, and this is baby number 3 for me. So if you don't know me, hello. Probably should start with that. My name is Julie. I have 2 little kids, age 5 and 3, and I'm pregnant with this baby who's due in May. It's February now when I'm filming this. I'm an occupational therapist and I am very focused on environment, dictating happiness, and minimalism, simplicity, intentional living. And part of that, and if you watch any of the videos on my channel, a lot of that is to do with decluttering and organizing your life so you can focus on things that really matter to you. And part of that is not overbuying things that I don't need. And because this is baby number 3 for me, I've obviously experienced it and I now know what I need and what I don't need. And also by having 2 other kids and my focus is shifted elsewhere, I just don't have the time and headspace to be, experimenting with the latest pregnancy gadgets. And I just have some thoughts that I really want to share with you if you are pregnant or planning a pregnancy, or maybe you're going through a second pregnancy. There's just so much stuff that you don't need if you want to keep it minimal, if you don't have a lot of space, if you want to save money. So I definitely want to create a video that will help you and add a lot of value to your life if you are in the same life stage as me or know of someone that is. So make sure that you go ahead and subscribe and click that notification bell so you are aware every time I upload a video, which is twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Give this video a thumbs up if you like videos here to make your life better, to help you live a more intentional, thought-provoking, mindful life. And also, before we jump in, make sure that you get your name on the Organized Mom waitlist. This is my signature course that I have developed to help you organize your time, cultivate habits, help you with your mindset, identify barriers that you have to make your home a sanctuary, to make it a calming space that you look forward to coming to on a basic level, to help you find a place for everything in your home and just shift your whole perspective on stuff and clutter and kids and why it's important to make that time. So make sure you get your name down on that wait list. I also have a free 3-day mini course that you can download and have access to, which has great tips and a great PDF to really help you. So make sure you check all of those things out. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I will not be buying, and actually that I have never purchased for pregnancy, I'll go into it, but is a pregnancy pillow. So with my first child, who is now almost 6 years old, so this was like 6 years ago, my husband actually bought me a pregnancy pillow, which was really kind because friends of his had recommended that this is something you buy pregnant women. And I remember not having the best reaction because I saw this thing and it wasn't pretty. And I was just like, no, I don't need this. And we returned it. And I felt bad because he actually had probably asked around or someone had recommended this to him or something. Maybe I was complaining about being uncomfortable or not sleeping or whatever it was. But yeah, I returned it and I've never ever used a pregnancy pillow. I've only ever used pillows that we had on our bed already. I actually sleep with 2 pillows anyway. Like I always do, pregnant or not, sleep with 1 pillow under my head and then like 1 between my legs. I don't like my knees like knocking together. Let me know if you're the same. So even though our bed actually has gotten bigger, so now I have like slightly bigger pillows, they still work really well for me. And at the moment, as like 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant, I don't really have a need for a pregnancy pillow. Obviously, if maybe you're carrying multiples or you're feeling like a lot of back pain or something, if you feel like a pregnancy pillow would help you, I mean, go ahead and get one. But for me personally, I haven't found the need. So don't think that you need to buy it until you actually feel like you really need to buy it, if you know what I mean. So that's definitely my first one. Another thing that I don't really buy into, especially now for baby number 3, are specialized creams and balms and moisturizers specific to pregnancy and specifically to prevent stretch marks. Because essentially a stretch mark is when the skin is stretching or growing too quickly for it to produce extra skin, so it kind of stretches out versus laying like a brick by brick of skin cells to make more skin, right? If you have to gradually put on weight or lose weight, the skin has natural elasticity that can cope with that kind of thing. But obviously with something like pregnancy, where your boobs grow really quickly or your belly grows quickly, you are more susceptible to stretch marks. I also think there is a genetic component to this, where certain people's skin is just not as resilient as others. I personally, now baby number 3, I have a few stretch marks, but I can't even see them, like only if I really look. They don't personally bother me, but obviously everyone's experience is different. But I don't think the creams, at least for me, I don't think that's gonna make the difference. Probably just a normal moisturizer I think is good, because your skin can get itchy. It's also like, now it's winter here and the radiators and the heaters and stuff make you very dry and itchy. So definitely get a moisturizer, but don't feel like you have to pay a premium because it says pregnancy. You know, it makes me think of, if you've ever been married and you're shopping for your wedding, as soon as you get a cake and you label the word wedding on it, it goes up like 500%. It's kind of the same thing, because they're targeting a specific market that they know are vulnerable and are going to buy things, because they're going to do everything they can to avoid stretch marks or impacts of pregnancy. And the truth is, your body is changing and it's probably never going to be exactly the same, and that's okay. Your body is doing what it was born to do. So I think that really just regularly applying some kind of moisturizer, whatever you like, look at the ingredients and make sure they're safe for you. Like, another thing that I guess when you're purchasing a pregnancy product, you're assuming that the ingredients are safe for the baby, right? Because we do absorb a lot of anything that we put on our skin through our skin into our bloodstream, and a lot of toxins and fragrances and the parabens and the sulfates and all this kind of stuff. But here's the thing, like, why, if you're now worried about this with a baby, are you not concerned about this for yourself? I just think you should be using a safe moisturizer for you as an adult just as much as you would be using it for a baby. And yes, obviously this can impact the baby, the harsh ingredients, but it's going through like multiple levels before it even gets to the baby. Whereas when you're putting that directly on your skin, that's like directly impacting you. So I think you should be looking at moisturizers, critiquing them anyway, pregnant or not, and I don't think you need to pay a premium for special pregnancy ones. Along the same lines are any special creams for my face. I tend to get a bit of hyperpigmentation during pregnant, but it's more because of the sun. So what I really pay attention to is sunscreen, or, you know, wearing a hat or something. At the moment we're in winter, so it's not like as much of an issue, but as we get into the warmer months, I think my skin is definitely a lot more susceptible. Definitely the melanin in your skin is more sensitive. The same thing will happen to people sometimes when they take the pill, they get that pregnancy mask called cloasma. I've definitely had that before. I don't think I had it the second time, so maybe I was much more diligent with the sunscreen, and just it's activated by light, so some of it you just can't avoid. But I'm not really buying anything specific for that. I'm just being sensible and putting on sunscreen, which I would be doing anyway. Specific pregnancy books. Now, I'm not an expert on pregnancy, but there's a lot of things that you can easily Google, and I actually really love parenting books and baby books and things like that. But specific pregnancy books, like the classic What to Expect While You're Expecting, I do not own that. I don't think it's really necessary, and I don't know how evidence-based it is, to be honest. I will say there is a book that I have read previously called Expecting Better by Emily Oster, which I really enjoyed. I'm not going to be purchasing it for this pregnancy because I have read it and I've actually given it to a lot of friends, but I just think you need to be very mindful about what kind of information you consume while pregnant, because it might drive you totally nuts. Along with books is like apps and things. I don't have a specific pregnancy app. I'm not logging in like how much I weigh this week or what's going to happen, and it's not because I don't care. It's more because my attention is elsewhere, but it's also like, is it necessary? I can just Google 27 weeks pregnant and it's going to tell me the baby is the size of a cabbage or whatever it is, or it weighs 2 pounds. That's more like realistic for me. So specialized underwear, and I've also come to realize that there's special pregnancy bathing suits and all kinds of things like that, but I'm not purchasing any special underwear. I upgraded my bras, I'll say, because they were looking a little sad and it was time, but I actually bought my pre-pregnancy size, so I'm planning to wear those or some variation variation of that. Obviously, when you first have a baby, your boobs are massive, or at least mine are for me, and it takes a week or two before they kind of calm down, but I'm not going to buy specific bras just for that. It is wonderful to have like specific pregnancy items, but I just don't think it's necessary if you don't have the headspace, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you don't want to spend the money, don't feel like you need to invest a lot of money. And when it comes to underwear, like panties and things like that, hate that word. I am not gonna buy anything specific. I just wear the same underwear that I usually wear that's comfortable. I really like black underwear because I think it hides everything, and it's also great for postpartum because if you've had a baby, you know what I mean. So I think black goes with everything, and then you're sorted. You have underwear, pregnant or not. So when I was doing research for this video, one of the things that came up was a fetal Doppler. And I thought this was interesting because I have never really considered owning a fetal Doppler. And I think it's because I read somewhere in my first pregnancy that it's actually very dangerous in a way to have a fetal Doppler. And let me know if you agree, because I can see both sides of the coin. But the one thing is, like, if you can't, as a non-medical professional, or as someone now performing medical services on yourself, which is not recommended, if you cannot find the heartbeat, plus I'm assuming you wouldn't be using a medical grade fetal Doppler that they would use in an office. I don't know how easy those are to get hold of, but if you cannot find the heartbeat, you're gonna freak out. And being stressed and freaking out when most likely nothing is wrong is not good for anybody. And so I remember reading that a fetal Doppler causes more anxiety and stress, can be inaccurate, makes the mother panic. I never entertained the thought of getting one for myself personally. So just, be wary. I know people probably recommend them out of a place of love. I don't think it's necessary, and I think it might cause you more stress. Instead, what I do if I'm feeling unsure, especially in those beginning months, which I don't know if a non-medical grade fetal Doppler would pick up a heartbeat. I don't know. But in those beginning months when you cannot feel the baby. So for me, I think I started to feel this baby, I don't even know, 17 weeks, 18 weeks, something like that. It's a good amount of time where you don't really know what's going on in there. So this is what I tell myself, this is what I tell my clients, my friends, is that your body, and I want you to repeat this mantra if you ever feel, uncertain about your baby. Obviously, if you have a gnawing feeling that something is wrong, go and get checked out. And we can talk about that in a second. But if you are ever insecure about the pregnancy for some reason, and I think that's normal, I've had 2 healthy babies and I still have these moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, is this going to be fine? It's just natural, I think, to doubt a little bit. But what I tell myself is that nature and my body, which is part of the natural system, wants to have a healthy child. Your body wants to reproduce. We want to have the species perpetuated. And I know that sounds really clinical and kind of like cold, but you really have to think about this. Like, if your baby is healthy, and you know that because you've had tests and it's gotten to this point, and there's no reason, like no rational reason to think that something is wrong, like you don't have cramping or bleeding or a lot of pain, or there's no reason, like you're fine, then you really have to just err on the side of statistics, which would be that more than likely your child is perfectly fine and healthy, especially in those first few months when you cannot feel them kicking you or moving around, and you don't have that kind of feedback or reassurance that something's actually alive in there. So I just tell myself my body wants to be healthy, it wants to have this baby. It's not trying to miscarry or abort the child or anything like that. It wants the baby to be born. That's what I tell myself to help kind of calm that reptilian fearful brain of mine if I'm freaking out for some reason, and that helps me if I repeat that, and then I try and distract myself with something else. If something was wrong and you didn't know it for whatever reason, like because you do hear these stories, and I wouldn't dive too deeply into them, especially if you're pregnant, because it's just not helpful. It's not gonna bring you any kind of peace to hear these horrific stories that happen. But those are the sensational stories that we hear when a baby is born, stillborn, or someone has a late miscarriage. It does happen, but we don't hear about all the other thousands, millions of healthy pregnancies that do go from 0 to live birth, because that's just everyday life, that's just normal. So you have to really remember that. But if you are unsure or you're freaking out or whatever, I kind of think to myself, if something happens to your child inside, if it passes away and you're not aware of it, what could have been done differently? You wouldn't have known. So by freaking out and making yourself unnecessarily stressed, you're just causing like unhappiness all around, which definitely gets transferred to the baby that is most likely alive and well. So just try and keep calm. I know this kind of took a bit of a more deep side of things, but I do think it's important to keep a healthy mindset while pregnant. Something else that I don't buy, that I have had in the past, not specific to pregnancy, but an exercise ball. But this time I don't have one, and I'm not planning to take up space by blowing one up or getting one or spending money. And we're probably gonna move anyway, I don't know. So I'm just gonna let that go. I don't have an exercise ball or peanut ball or anything like that. To me, has not really been a priority, so I'm not purchasing any of those. Certain supplements that are kind of targeted to pregnant women that I personally found either I don't need or haven't helped me. So specifically like heartburn things like Tums and stuff, I personally haven't had a need for that. Obviously, if you're getting bad heartburn, you need to like figure it out, but I don't purchase anything specific for that. But other things like you get like ginger candies targeted to pregnant women, for me personally, didn't work. The only things that I take are extra iron and magnesium, and I'll go get those for you to show you. Okay, so let's start with iron over here. So I historically suffer from kind of pregnancy anemia, which I think is very common. I don't suffer from anemia normally. It's more that, you have an increased blood volume, your hemoglobin, your red blood cells, which your hemoglobin lives in, is diluted based on the blood volume, but also your baby is taking away all of those nutrients. So if you don't have enough in your diet, you're going to start to experience anemia. And the way that I feel it is I get like so fatigued. I especially felt this in my early second trimester when I was supposed to be feeling better, which I wasn't feeling nauseous and I didn't have the food aversions that I was having, but I was so lethargic and I was like, this can't be good. So I started supplementing with this. This is called they call it Flora-Vital, but it's Floradix, which is supposed to be a better way to be able to ingest iron. You don't want to take too much. So I actually take half of the recommended dose with some orange juice in the morning, and I try and be really like religious about it because I think it makes a difference for me in terms of my energy levels. After a few days I start to feel a little bit better. I don't know if that's mental, but but yeah, so make sure that you're taking like the recommended dose. You don't want to overdose on iron, but in pregnancy you are using that up a lot. And I recently had blood tests taken. My iron is in normal levels, but it's like on the lower side, and I'm like, okay. Other one I take is this, which I've spoken about before, definitely on my Instagram, so go and follow me there if you don't already. I've taken this actually for all 3 pregnancies, I believe. This is called Natural Calm, and it's a magnesium supplement, and this I think is a powerhouse and like an essential for pregnant women because it does so many things. The one thing is it's supposed to like calm you down, but it helps with sleep, and I definitely experience pregnancy insomnia, but I would also say like I don't sleep that great not pregnant, but definitely you can have really wild dreams when you're pregnant, and this definitely seems to help me when I take it like every night and I take enough of it. The other thing is that in pregnancy, the progesterone that maintains the pregnancy can lead to constipation in pregnancy, and the iron leads to constipation. So you want something to kind of mitigate that a little bit. So you would have to eat a lot of fiber to kind of compensate for the fact that you're taking extra iron and that you're pregnant. So if you don't eat enough fiber, you might want to consider something like this. But it is quite strong. It like works really well. It's natural, but it works really well. So you just want to like slowly build up in your body. So I just follow the instructions and make sure that I'm only increasing a little bit every day. And the other thing that magnesium really helps with is restless leg syndrome. So when you're pregnant, often you can get like a Charlie horse in your calves. I guess it's like going through magnesium a lot, I'm not sure, but it definitely helps with that, and I don't really suffer from that at all. But restless legs is a real pregnancy complaint, so it's definitely worthwhile to get those supplements, but the other things I don't think really work, for me at least. And then let's talk about the most obvious category, and that is maternity clothes. So you can get maternity pajamas, you can get maternity swimsuits, I spoke about maternity underwear, you can probably get maternity robes, dresses, anything, right? Obviously you get pants and tops and all these kinds of things. It depends on your lifestyle. If you're going into an office, which a lot of us are not doing these days, and you need to wear a certain level of kind of corporate attire, you may need to invest in a few maternity pieces as your stomach grows. There's just something about it where I'm like, oh, this is just for like 3 months and I have to buy a whole new wardrobe, killing me over here. So I would be very cognizant of that and not overbuy. I always like to buy things when I know that I need them, because I've just bought too many things in anticipation of things happening and never really used them, So And that's just not just with pregnancy, with everything in life. So I would really err on the side of caution. If you do need to wear dresses or things like that, like maxi dresses, things that kind of just naturally stretch, are not labeled as maternity. Anything with like an empire waistline or just like a flowy fabric or stretchy, you'll be able to wear that for a long period of time. Even skirts, you know, you do get like a special maternity skirt, which is a bit longer, that's nice and stretchy, that will go over your belly, but you could get a skirt that's kind of just a regular skirt that will go underneath. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money on maternity clothes. I wasn't sure that I was even going to have a third baby, so I didn't really have much from the previous pregnancies. I didn't really go overboard anyway, but I had a pair of workout leggings that have like a bit of a band, which to be honest actually are not that comfortable for me, but I will wear them in a pinch. And then I have like a maternity top which has like the little ruches on the side. It is nice because it's long and I don't want a top that kind of like, you know, rides up, exposes my nakedness. So really those are the only things I had from my previous pregnancy, and I have only purchased I think 2 more tops. I'll put pictures up around here because I wear them in a lot of videos. They don't look like maternity. Sure, I can wear them, definitely postpartum, and definitely like I could wear them for sure. Long sleeve tops that just are comfortable for me to wear, just so I have something. But then like this top that I'm wearing now is like it's from Beyond Yoga, and it's like an athleisure top. It's not maternity. I wear it all year round, and that's how most of my things are. I have 2 pairs of pants that I can wear. Reason they're like quite big, and I can wear them and they're really comfortable, and they're my favorite like legging style pants to wear. I mean, I really haven't purchased any maternity clothes besides those 2 tops, which I plan to keep beyond maternity. I don't think they like scream maternity. And so I just want to caution you, like obviously my lifestyle's a little different now. I'm not going into an office where there's an expectation that I would need to wear different clothes every day or wear a certain like level of clothing, you know, business casual. I don't have that issue this time around because I'm stuck inside and I'm not doing that anymore. So I am lucky that I could literally just wear pajamas all day if I really wanted to, but obviously I still go out and I still have to do things, pick up my kids from school and stuff like that. So, you know, I do have to wear clothes, but I'm not really planning on spending too much money and buying special things. So I definitely think you can get away with a lot. I don't think you need to be spending lots of money. Think about how you can invest that money in your child's college education, or a really nice vacation when all of this nonsense is over, or, you know, just like prenatal massage or something, if that's something that's safe to do. Like, you don't need to be spending all this money, and I guess I just want you to make informed decisions. Obviously, if you want to go ahead and treat yourself, like 100% do that, but don't feel like you have to, I guess is the thing. And don't fall into the trap that marketers kind of want you to do. They want you to spend all your money. Trust me, once you actually have the baby, especially if this is your first baby, I mean, the marketing, the promotions, the kind of brainwashing, the messaging, it goes up like so much. It's just incredible. So you want to really be wary. You want to be an intelligent and skeptical buyer when it comes to kids and things, and that's a lot about what my channel is about. Like, you just don't need as much stuff as advertisers want you to believe, because they want you to buy the product, obviously. And I've just managed to kind of lean it down more and more and more as I've gone through these babies, and like become a bit more wise and realize what works for me and my lifestyle. If you would like, I can create a video about what I'm gonna make for my baby and like what essentials I'm gonna have for her, because honestly, like, she has like 1 outfit right now. Like, I definitely think I'm gonna make a newborn essentials list for those moms out there that are confused and overwhelmed and bombarded by the amount of things that people tell you need. And I would love to share my opinion of what I think you actually need and help you save those hard-earned pennies. All right, so that is what I will not be buying for this pregnancy list. I hope you enjoyed it. Give this video a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel. Check out The Organized Mom, sign up for that waitlist, get the free 3-day mini course, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.